Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
Sure, of course I will. And then he goes, do you have a pen? And then I went, and then he like reaches over to this little kid and takes his Sharpie and he goes, so who should I make it out to? And I'm like, Lacey, you can put whatever you want on it. I don't really care. Just like,
Hello and welcome to the Funny Science Fiction podcast.
Where Shatner is not just a person, but a game. Where everyone overreacts. Our guest today is Rob Stringer, the writer and creator of the Oblivity podcast, a sci-fi comedy podcast with its own online escape game. You guys need to check them both out. Thanks for being on the show, Rob. Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is very exciting.
Yes, Beaker here is one of your biggest fans, so I thought I would have him sit in on this session. I hope you don't mind.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. It's great to have such endorsement from someone who doesn't vocalize themselves.
Yes.
Really.
He did say meep.
Right, yeah.
Once you interpret the meeps, it's all good from there.
Excited, you know.
Yeah.
It was a very fast-paced meeping. So, Rob, we're very excited to have you on today and talk about your podcast. And one of the things I always like to talk to creative people about is their beginnings, things that inspired them to be creative. Now, whether it's something from their upbringing or it's something that there is around them that's inspiring them now. So, Rob, what inspires you to be creative on your podcast, the Oblivity podcast? Was it something from your youth or is it something from now? Whether or not it's sci-fi related, doesn't matter. What is it that inspires Rob?
Wow, let's start with the tough questions.
You're welcome.
Okay, I guess there's the sci-fi answer to that, and then there's the other answers. I enjoy. So we get a lot of comparisons on our reviews to like Red Dwarf, for instance, and I can absolutely see the similarities there, and it's lovely to be compared to that because I was a big fan of Red Dwarf growing up, and I still love it. Still watch the repeats, so yeah, that's great. I think what I really like about that kind of arena is being able to tell stories in really silly ways and using kind of allegory and metaphor and things like that in really cool ways. So I loved that, particularly the early Red Dwarfs. I really loved how philosophical they got over kind of questions of like ethics and like reality and things like that, which I don't know, just really excited me at the time. And it's nice to feel like through Oblivity I can do something similar, if not quite as accomplished, perhaps. Yeah, and that's the kind of same reason why I love stuff like Buffy as well, where it uses, it's got monsters, sure, but yeah, the monsters are very symbolic for other things. And I love that whole kind of approach. That's really exciting. In terms of like generally what makes me creative and want to create is, I don't know, I just really enjoy it. It's the kind of thing that gives me, so I'm a big like puzzle solver. I really like puzzles, and I really like the whole like storytelling aspect of kind of having a story, wanting to tell it, and then like treating it a bit like a cryptic crossword, and you have to get from here to here, and you're not quite not sure how that's going to happen, but you kind of work on your characters and work on the story until it all kind of clicks into place. And I really like that aspect of it, like making it a really kind of logical structure. It's really satisfying, I think. So
okay,
that's me waxing lyrical about creative.
That's all right. We appreciate it. Wax away. That's fine. Or wax on, wax off, whichever way you go.
That was coming.
As soon as he said wax, that was the first thing that popped in my brain. Right. Danielson, wax on, wax off. Anyway, all right. So, Rob, let's talk about the game. It's a fun little escape game. What was the reason for making the game? Was there something you said, woke up one morning and went, we should make a game? Or was there an influence outside of what we see, that's something that made you say, this is the type of game I want to do?
Yeah, so as I just saying, like, I really love puzzles and I love escape games. Have you done escape games?
Yes,
I have not. Alan Drayton has.
Yeah, we've done 4 or 5 home games. The those exit games and that type, and then we've done 2 or 3 escape rooms.
Yeah.
With our family, so we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
I love the puzzles and figuring that out.
Yeah.
So far, we have yet to be defeated by any of them.
Oh, great! Congratulations. That's great. Yeah, we've done a few. We've got a habit of doing them when we go on holiday if we can find some about. Yeah, we're big escape games fans, and we've done like Western ones and pirates ones and samurai ones and gangsters and things like that. Yeah, I really love it when they're kind of really like well plotted and well themed. So I've kind of always harbored a desire to have to create a physical escape game. All I need is huge amounts of money and space to do it. But in writing the podcast, I think it was my wife actually who said maybe you could do an online escape game for this. And I kind of went, oh, yeah, maybe sometime. And then it was this year that I kind of thought, actually, no, we probably could do this. And so we'd released one season of Oblivity and a few mini episodes. And we were planning to do our second season earlier this year. But because of obvious reasons, we weren't able to do that. But I still wanted to kind of get something out. I wanted to get something to give to the people who had backed a second season through our crowdfunder last year. Because everything was delayed, and yeah, I just had this silly idea of actually working on an escape game hosted from our website, and somehow it all kind of came together. Yeah, so the team were all on board, which is fantastic. I got the actors on board. We got amazing artwork from this guy called Justin Woods. He's a brilliant artist.
Nice.
Who very kindly did these great illustrations for us of the characters. And my friend Tom did some music as well. So yeah, it's become a nice kind of interactive affair, and it meant that I could carry out my dream of creating puzzles, which it ticks that escape room box for me basically, which I've harbored for a long time.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool
great
answer.
Yeah, I really enjoy escape rooms. In fact, I kind of built one in Minecraft, which is all part of my redstone. So I'll have to pull that one out and dust it off and put it up again. That you got me thinking about it.
Oh wow, yeah, great.
That's cool. I didn't know you'd done that. All right. So Rob, one more question for me here real quick. So looking at Oblivity, seeing that it's kind of an episodic style comedy podcast, you have multiple characters, some are kind of goofy, and then that's kind of the fun of it. But clearly this all takes time, right? To plan, to record, and all that can be very exhausting. But I also think, and I'm going to make a broad stroke assumption here based on conversations with other creative writers, that they are naturally drawn to one or two characters more than they are the others. So which characters on your show do you identify with more or find it easier to write for more so than the other characters?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I definitely see myself in quite a few of the characters in different ways. For Lowell, I've definitely got a bit of kind of toilet humor, and I think probably his and Christie's self-confidence issues. And for Bernie, I'm probably a little bit pedantic like Bernie as well. And Falconer, I would love to be like Falconer because she's just hard. She's can I say kick-ass on this show?
Sure.
She's kick-ass. I'd like to be. I think Falconer is probably who I would like to be like. I think I'm probably more like probably Bernie and Lowell. I'm going to go with a cross between those two. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no actual kicking of donkeys, however, involved, because right? I don't want PETA on us.
That we would frown upon.
We don't practice.
Okay.
We don't practice.
You're just using that as an expression, the kicking the donkey. Okay. just to clarify that for our audience. I didn't want anybody to get upset.
We don't maul mules.
This is a donkey safe environment.
Yes.
So so is there a character that you have a struggle writing for, that you just I mean, because clearly you put a little bit of yourself in all these characters, but is there one of them over the others where you find like you kind of written yourself into a corner with that character, and sometimes it's hard to get out from?
Gosh, not yet. I which is which is nice. So I've obviously I've written season 2, and we're just waiting to get an opportunity to actually be able to record that and go into the studio together. And I've planned out season 3, so I kind of know I know where the stories are going for all the characters. I know what all their arcs are. So at the moment, I don't feel like I've kind of got to any dead ends, which is a very nice position to be in.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Humor is always, the main topic on our podcast. And since you're a humorous writer and you do a comedy podcast, I always, obviously humor is important to you. So why did you choose a comedy podcast as opposed to more serious or dramatic type sci-fi space opera that is also very popular?
That's a really good question. I think I've spent quite a lot of my life trying to write serious things, and it just ends up inevitably becoming silly. Yeah. And I don't know if that's because I'm quite a silly person or because I'm not sure I feel kind of sincere enough to try and be very solemn and serious in my storytelling. And there's just stories that itch to just kind of subvert a situation and make it really, really, really silly. I just like kind of making people laugh as well. I'm not like a stand-up comedian. I'm not someone who could go up and kind of tell loads of jokes to people and kind of entertain them. I'm not that at all. I'm quite kind of introverted generally. But in terms of just being able to like write a story that makes people laugh, I think that's just the coolest thing, to actually give someone a reason to smile as they're driving to work or doing washing up or whatever. I think that's a kind of really nice place to be. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, comedy humor is enjoyable. I know my latest work in progress, I thought I was going to be writing a funny story, and then as I had a funny concept, and all of a sudden it's almost a tragedy. So it always the line between comedy and tragedy is very very close sometimes, and we don't even perceive that, because what is humorous in one person's eyes might be tragic in another. So, but well, that's neat. I like your background. Thank you so much for letting me. Now this is maybe, I don't know, I don't want to touch on any legal problems here, but I did notice on one of your posts that you were talking about going after those people who are squatting in your genre. All those shows about space, where that's where your show takes place. So they're kind of, like the Star Trek's, Doctor Who's, Star Wars, and that ilk are all kind of copying that whole space concept that you had. So what makes you better than the competition? And are you pursuing legal action for all the rabble that's copying your whole idea? It all happened in space idea.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I know what you mean there. That
our silly question of the day here.
Yeah. I can't even remember what the question was now.
I know. No, basically, I was just being silly. The idea is what makes your show. Yeah. What recommends your show to folks that are going to enjoy your type of podcast?
So I would say, and I think I'm going to go back to your observation about comedy and tragedy being kind of on very close to each other. I'm going to say that I'm going to try and big myself up as a serious writer here, and say that even though Oblivity is like super goofy and like they're really kind of extreme characters, I'm really conscious of trying to make sure that they become quite real. Like they start off two-dimensional, but hopefully they become more complete as they go on. And because I'm kind of interested in the themes of like PTSD and the kind of insecurities and things that the characters feel. I'm really interested in like exploring those, especially as season 2 comes along. We'll see more of that. So I like to think that we kind of tread both lines of being very silly, but also kind of exploring themes like isolation and trauma and that kind of thing. So that's my very sensible answer to that. In terms of like copyright and people copying me, we started watching Star Trek Discovery recently, and my word, there is some. I mean, I'm willing to take legal action against Michael Burnham and that lot over there with like their mushrooms and things like that, which clearly they've taken with Oblivity, even though I think they might have written it before me.
Very good. So now, 20 years ago, no one knew what a podcast was, pretty much. 70 years ago, almost no one knew what a TV was. 100 years ago, people didn't know about radio. So how would you explain what you do for a living, you know, in your podcast, at least your podcast aspect of your life? How would you explain that to someone in Victorian times?
Oh wow, yeah, I wish I was doing it for a living. I suppose from on to Victorian times, it's just a story read out, isn't it? It's just it's like Sherlock Holmes, you know, reading Sherlock Holmes to your friends, but with a few jokes. I think that might be it. It's funny, there does seem to be a lot of confusion and different interpretations of what an audio drama is, and you know, is it a radio drama, is it audio fiction, what counts as fiction, what counts as drama, is a story, is a like a book read out, is that fiction or is that drama or not? I think to me, like, I just growing up, so we've got Radio 4 over here in the UK, which has had great sitcoms on 6:30 every weekday evening. And I used to kind of walk into the kitchen while my dad was cooking and hear this laughter coming from the radio. And I just thought, God, I'd love to be able to write something like that, where, you know, you write a story that is entertaining this audience and they're kind of in fits of laughter. And that's I guess that's what inspired me, like, in the first place. And that's all it is. It's just reading out a story that's that grips people. Am I overthinking your questions? I feel like you just want.
No, you're doing great.
No, this is great. Because I was thinking, you know, still my favorite way to enjoy Hitchhiker's Guide is the audio version that was originally produced, and that's really got me interested in science fiction humor. Also, was listening to that show with all the dramatic and some of the silliness and some of the absurdity. Of course, here in the States, it was a little, it was harder to get, especially back when it was on the first time. I think it was on public radio occasionally and at weird times at night and stuff, but I managed to get some of it. So I really enjoyed that. And still, when people ask me what the best way to enjoy Hitchhiker's Guide is, I say, start with that. And then read the books and maybe skip the movie if you want, because it really won't make much sense.
Agreed.
if you don't have any background in the whole Hitchhiker's Guide. So, well, wonderful. So your escape room, I really was fascinated by that. So this is something people can log on to and get into. And do it all virtually. Now, is this a family friendly? Is there any cautions or anything people need to know? Is it for kids?
It's family friendly in from the point of view that there's no swears or anything like that. Oblivity is very much built to be a kind of family friendly show. There might be a few double entendres and things slipping in there, but generally it's family friendly, and the game is too. I think there's probably a bit of a kind of sliding scale of difficulty in the game. So there are some more challenging puzzles. I'm told from feedback that the first puzzle in the game is the hardest. And then, so if that doesn't put you off, then you'll be fine after that. And there are a few puzzles that kids can get into, like mazes and things like that as well. So yeah, various levels.
Nothing too scary or anything that.
I don't think so. No.
Well, great. I just thought I'd ask that because I got thinking about that and how fun those are. All right. Well, it's the time on our show where we have a little fun and quiz our guests. I hope Rob has got his thinking cap on. We have a little bit of a different quiz today. It's called the same first name quiz. So
Ooh.
The first time we're trying this, so essentially you're our guinea pig.
Yeah, so if it fails miserably, you can blame us. Okay, well, nothing on you.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
if
we'll
I
bl-
fail, I can blame you.
We'll blame you. You can blame us. It'll be fine all the way around.
All right, so we're going to
Wait.
describe two different individuals in the question, and they both have the same first name. If you get the
Okay.
first name, you get 1 point, and if you guess one of the last names or the last parts of the title, then you will get a bonus point. Okay.
Okay.
So there's 10 points possible with 5 questions. So if you get less than 4, you're going to get the punishment meme, where we take your head and put you on a funny meme that people will talk about, and it will go viral, and you'll be humiliated forever. No.
And just to
great.
clarify, not your actual head, just a picture of your head.
Okay. No, that's
You,
cool.
you get to
I'll
live no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I mean, with masks and stuff, nobody's going to recognize you. So don't worry about it. As long as COVID's around, right? No, but then if you, but there is an upside. Now, if you get more than 6 points, you get one of our I gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund mugs sent to you, postpaid by Pony Express across the ocean. I don't know how they do that. And then if you do well, very well, you get greater than 8 points, then you get an autographed copy of Custodians of the Cosmos, the humorous story of Caleb Buckley, and who dreams of becoming a starship officer someday, but he of course fails the entrance exam, so he gets a job as a custodian on a starship, hoping to get recommended for a promotion to the academy. So it's the story of those who boldly go to clean up after those that boldly just went.
Great stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So our first question, Tim's going to offer that up, and we'll see how you do.
You ready, Rob?
Okay, I'm terrified, but yeah, I'm ready as I'll ever be.
All right, here we go. First question. The inventor of bifocals and the commander of Deep Space Nine.
Is it Ben someone? It's someone famous and American.
Yeah.
It's definitely a Ben.
Yeah.
And no, my mind is completely failing me now. Benjamin Franklin.
Franklin.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the first one, and then the second one.
Commander of Deep Space Nine.
So you've already got 2 points.
Deep Space Nine. I've never watched it. I've never watched Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Benjamin
Sisko.
Benjamin.
Cisco, but you got both points.
Cisco.
2 points.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
All right. So now here is the second question. This is a robot on the starship Heart of Gold, and the guy waiting for his earth-shattering kaboom.
You gotta
Okay,
say it. You
Marvin
gotta
the
say it.
Paranoid Android.
I'm sorry. Go
Marvin the
ahead.
Paranoid.
Yes. Marvin the Paranoid Android.
And Marvin the Martian.
Yes.
Earth-shattering kaboom.
Yeah. You could. I should have you do this one because you can do the voice. I can't.
That's a great impression.
Yeah, he does good at that one.
Thank you.
So you got it, Marvin the Paranoid Android and Marvin the Martian. So you got 2 points for that one as well. So you're up to 4. So
Hey, you're bypassing the meme.
so no punishment meme for you.
All right. So the actor behind Hikura Sulu and the author of A Dance with Dragons.
And well, it's George R.R. Martin
Okay.
and the George Takei.
Yes.
Awesome. You're
6
doing
points.
great. You're acing this one.
I'm doing way better than anticipated here. I'm going to be honest. Delighted.
All right. Cool beans, man. You got the mug.
Next question. One of these played 3 different roles in Doctor Strangelove, and the other played Tyrion Lannister on Game of Thrones. They share the first name.
So the latter is Peter Dinklage,
Correct.
and the former is Peter Sellers.
Very good. So, Tim.
All right. The actress who played the mom on National Lampoon's Vacation and Picard's doctor.
Okay, I'm gone on both of these. Picard's doctor, isn't that she had the sun, and the sun's in Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
And I
Wes-
didn't really.
Wesley is his first name.
Wesley.
With the slash.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley. I'll kill you in the morning.
Crusher?
Yeah,
Beverly Crusher?
Beverly Crusher.
So you got it.
And the mom on National Lampoon's Vacation.
And not a clue.
I'll give you a hint.
Beverly.
Her first name is Beverly.
There you go.
Okay, that's great. That's really helpful. Thank you. Let me just Google that.
It was Beverly D'Angelo. Yeah, we'll give it to you because you got both of them.
Beverly Cleverly.
Very good.
Close enough.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You did great. So that means
Thank you.
you have gotten yourself the mug and the book. So we certainly appreciate
Wow.
it. It's such a good sport for testing out our new quiz format there for this particular quiz. You did great. And give us a rating. Did you enjoy the quiz?
Yeah. Well, given that I did all right in it, I'm going to give you a 10 out of 10. I mean,
Yeah,
if I did
there you
badly
go.
out of it, then it would be
All right.
Hey.
Sorry.
All right. Well, you are a guinea pig, and now we get to try this out on some other unsuspecting guest.
Maybe
And,
we'll do last names next time.
All right, Rob, thank you so much for being on our show today. This has been an absolute joy. We've been just thrilled to have you here. But one more quick question for you. Where can people go to find out more about your podcast and your other works?
Well, that's it. Yeah. So for the podcast, you can just look up Oblivity on your podcast catcher, on your feed. And we're there. And we've got a website at oblivitypodcast.com. And that's got our escape game on it and lots of sort of photos and videos and things like that as well. So, and follow us as well on at Oblivity Podcast on Twitter. You can follow us there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure we add all that into the description when we post this show. We want people to be able to find you, find your works. We follow Rob on Twitter. I strongly suggest that you guys follow Rob on Twitter as well and check out all those things. Check out his escape game, check out his podcast, check out his website. Some pretty cool stuff there. I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy following him just as much as we have enjoyed following him.
Yes, thank you, Rob. Very creative, and we appreciate. We probably didn't mention too that Rob is the writer of the show. We should have said that because he is a writer, and that's what he does professionally. So, if anybody's looking for a professional writer, I know Rob does some freelance work too. So, I hope you don't mind me throwing that in there too. So, subscribing is the
Not at all.
Subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests like Rob and funny moments that you can listen to. So please subscribe. Please check out Rob's work and always feel free to contact us at our Facebook group where it all began, Funny Science Fiction. And please join. We're almost at 100,000 members, and we know we're really enjoying all the funny memes and funny comments that we get from our members.
And remember, if you're not happy with the show's content, all you have to do is just let us know. We'll be more than happy to force the offending party to listen to a 5-hour loop of Beaker singing "It's a Small World."
And our ending quote comes from Robert A. Heinlein: "Progress isn't made by early risers, it's made by lazy men trying to find easier ways of doing something." Thanks again, Rob. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye. So long. Farewell. El Wiedersehen.
Thank you. Bye.
It would be illogical if we failed to mention our charity, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund. Because, as we know, in episode 78, just 33 minutes and 11 seconds into the show, a red-shirted Starship crew member will most likely die after flying dangerously close to the Theseus sphere and being attacked by its leader, Baylock. It happens, you know? But what about their families that have been left behind? Well, that's where the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund comes into play. They won't be left destitute.
Please remember, our fictional charity, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, is connected to a very real charity. Now, your purchase of Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund merchandise allows us to donate 100% of all profits of merchandise sold to the awesome folks over at Wish Upon a Teen. So if you go out and buy one of these super cool handy dandy mugs or a t-shirt or a hoodie or whatever cool thing that you'd like to buy, 100% of the profits of that help sick kids in a hospital have a more comfortable stay when their stay becomes extended. Don't forget about our neighbors, and especially those who are struggling in their time of need.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.